Every single waking second of your life, you feel it passing, right? I mean, you set alarms by it, you stress over it, you basically plan your entire existence around it. But what if everything you fundamentally believe about the past, the present, and the future is just a complete hallucination? Well, get ready because today in this explainer, we are going to completely break down the science and the philosophy of why your reality is absolutely not what it seems. Now, I know, it seems completely ridiculous to even ask, is time real? We have built our entire human civilization around the ticking of a clock. We just assume time is this universal river, constantly carrying us inevitably forward. But as we start to peel back the layers of physics and philosophy today, you're going to find out that river, yeah, it might actually be bone dry. Look, as a species, we are totally obsessed with precision. So much so that today we measure a single second by exactly 9,192,631,770 cycles of microwave radiation absorbed by a cesium atom. I mean, that is the absolute gold standard. We've built our entire modern world on this, from your smartphone's GPS to high-speed algorithmic stock trading. We have this absolute confidence that we can slice time up into unimaginably perfect tiny little fragments. But despite having these absolutely perfect atomic clocks, quantum physicists will drop a massive bombshell on you. Our common, everyday way of thinking about time is fundamentally wrong. Seriously. The deepest equations governing our universe, they have no master clock. There is no universal now ticking away in the background somewhere. And incredibly, there's absolutely no built-in direction of time. So let's look at section 1, the grounding, measuring the unmeasurable. Okay, so if the universe doesn't actually have a ticking clock, why on earth are we so obsessed with tracking one? Well, because from the very dawn of civilization, we looked up at the sky and basically forced our terrestrial lives to fit its patterns. The ancient Egyptians used shadow clocks and sundials to tie their agriculture to solar rhythms. The Babylonians gave us the base 60 system, which, by the way, is exactly why you're still stressing over being 5 minutes late to a 60-minute Zoom meeting today. And across the ocean, the Mayans developed calendars of just astonishing cosmological accuracy. The point is, we didn't discover time out there floating in the cosmos. We invented these systems to track celestial bodies. But the real illusion of time isn't just up in the stars. It's actually being generated right now, literally inside your head. Philosophers and psychologists like Edmund Husserl describe something known as the specious present. Basically, it's this mental saddle that we ride between the past and the future. Because think about it. You don't actually experience a razor-thin mathematical fraction of a millisecond as now. Your perception of the present actually has thickness to it. So your brain is actively constructing time in this 3-step cognitive process. First up is retention, which is you holding on to the immediate recent past. Second is the primal impression, so that's the raw sensory data hitting your eyes and ears right at this exact second. And third is protension, where you are continuously anticipating the incoming future. Your brain actually weaves all these together to create a seamless, moving present. It's a totally active cognitive construction. You aren't passively observing reality. Your brain is building the flow of time for you. All right, moving to section 2, the philosophical matrix, the problem of change. This brings us to a massive, massive paradox. If time doesn't actually flow the way we intuitively feel it does inside our heads, then how does a seed grow into a tree? Like, how does change actually happen? To answer this, we have to pit 2 philosophical heavyweights against each other. The dynamic view is probably what you intuitively believe right now, that a special, present moment is physically moving forward like a wave. But the static view argues that the past, present, and future are all just coordinates on a map. They all exist equally, and time doesn't pass any more than, say, the city of New York moves across a physical map. Now, under this static B theory, which is often called Eternalism, all moments in time exist at once. The year 551 BCE, the exact moment you were born, right now as you're sitting here watching this explainer, and the year 4476. They all exist simultaneously in a massive 4-dimensional block of space-time. Meaning, your past self and your future self are just as physically real as your present self. They're just hanging out at different temporal coordinates. So then how do things change in a universe that is basically static and frozen? Well, the answer is the at theory of temporal variation. It simply means that things are one way at a certain date and a totally different way at a later date. Imagine a metal poker. It's cold at 12 p.m. and it's hot at 12:05 p.m. That variation along the timeline, that is the change. There's no invisible magical force of time doing the changing. It's just different states existing at different coordinates. And hey, if you think this is all just, philosophical wordplay, just wait until you look at the physics. When you write out the famous Wheeler-DeWitt equation, which is the formula that attempts to describe the quantum state of the entire universe, the variable for time literally disappears from the math. Poof, gone. There is no T for time in the fundamental formula of the cosmos. The universe just is. Which leads us perfectly into Section 3, the scientific reveal, entropy as the real timekeeper. Okay, so if physics lacks a time variable entirely and the universe is just this big static block, why on earth do we remember the past but not the future? And why don't broken glasses just magically reassemble themselves on the floor? Well, the grand reveal to this whole mystery is entropy. Entropy describes the statistical tendency of the universe to move from order to disorder, and it is literally the sole physical property that actually gives our reality an arrow. Because while the fundamental equations of physics work exactly the same forwards and backwards, entropy, it only ever grows. So let's tie this together with the thermal time hypothesis. This suggests our whole perception of time passing is entirely based on us witnessing the statistical growth of heat and disorder. Think about it. Fast-moving molecules create heat. A hot cup of coffee cools down. A glass shatters into 100 pieces, but you never, ever see those pieces fly back together to form a perfect cup. What we call the flow of time is really just our macroscopic human perspective watching the universe naturally move toward higher and higher states of messiness and disorder. As the brilliant physicist Carlo Rovelli puts it, we are like candles. We burn free energy. We produce heat. We are time-oriented. Time feels so deeply fundamental to us, not because it's some built-in feature of the universe, but because we are walking, talking thermodynamic reactions. We literally have to burn energy and produce heat just to form a thought or create a memory. Our biology is entirely bound by the laws of thermodynamics, and our brains just interpret that biological reality as a flowing river of time.
So I really want to leave you with this mind-bending thought to take away from this explainer today. If the past, the present, and the future are all equally real in this block universe, and time is really just a biological illusion created by heat and memory inside your head, are you living in a frozen present right now? Are you really just experiencing a completely static reality, one tiny slice at a time? I don't know about you, but definitely think about that the next time you look at a clock. You aren't actually watching time pass. You are just watching gears turn in a timeless, eternal universe.